Hello and welcome to this digital photo video tutorial. I'm Phil Hall and I'll be showing you how to create a striking light trail image. Locking your camera off and photographing moving traffic over a long shutter speed can produce some really striking results, even from a mundane subject. Getting it right with one single shot can be tricky, however. You can't always get the traffic moving continuously through your shot or the level of traffic flow to generate enough impact. So, rather than attempting to get one shot bang on, we can blend a series of shots together to easily produce a perfect light trail shot. All you need is a series of shots taken from exactly the same spot, and we can do the rest in Photoshop. So, let's get started and take a look at our raw files. I'm in Adobe Bridge, Photoshop's file browser, and I'm just browsing through my raw files. These are the 4 raw files that are on the CD, and they're all DNG, so you shouldn't have a problem opening them up in any version of Photoshop with a raw converter, or Elements come to that. So at the moment, I'm going to open Traffic Trails 01 up first, so I'm just going to double click on that, and that will launch into Photoshop's raw converter. So you're probably all familiar with this. We've got our image here, and we've got our adjustment sliders here at the side. First thing I want to do is just warm up the image a bit. It's looking a bit too cool for my liking, so I'm just going to get the temperature slider and just crank it up, going to the right. Probably gone too fast. I'm going to just come back round about 5200, I think, round about there. That'll do. I'm just going to click back, preview. Yeah, that's made an improvement. So I just want to lighten the shot a little bit as well, not too much. So I'm going to go down to exposure and just increase the exposure to plus 0.35. Okay, I'm going to quickly skip past these other sliders. I'm going to move down to clarity. If you're using an earlier version of Photoshop other than CS3 or Element 6, you probably won't see this slider here, but it's not too much of a problem if you haven't got it. I'm just going to increase it up to around about 45, I think, and that just boosts the shot up a little bit more. Same with vibrance, just going to increase that up a tad. It's around about 20. That'll do. All that's done is just boosted the saturation in the colours that have the least saturation. So I'm just going to click back. You can see we're already starting to gain a bit more impact with our shot. Finally, I'm just going to increase the saturation to plus 10 or thereabouts. Okay, so with that done, I'm not going to muck around with any more of the sliders. I'm happy with what I've done here. I'm just going to open the image, and that's loaded into Photoshop. I now want to go back and take a look at the other 3 raw files. So I'm going to click back to Bridge, back in Bridge now, and you can see on the thumbnail there, Traffic Trails 01, you can see the changes we've made. Now we want to make those same changes to the other 3 raw files. Now what we could do, which would be a very drawn out process, is make the same changes individually to each raw file, and that will take a bit of time, but a quick way of doing this is just to click on Traffic Trails 02, holding down Shift, click on Traffic Trails 04. All of those 3 images are now selected, and all I'm going to do is right click on any one of them, and from the drop down I'm going to go down to Develop Settings and hit Previous Conversion. I'm going to select that. It's now applied that same raw conversion that we did with Traffic Trails 01 to the other 3 raw files, so that saved us bags of time, and that was really quick to do. So what I'm going to do now is open up all 3 files into the raw converter. I'm going to just quickly do that by just hitting Control O on my keyboard, and they'll just open all up into the raw converter. Only one selected at the moment, so I'm going to hit Select All. I can make any subtle changes I want to, but I'm happy with that, so I'm just going to hit Open Images, and they're all going to launch into Photoshop. Okay, so I've got my 4 files opened up in Photoshop, so just to give you a little bit clearer idea of what I'm doing, I'm just going to minimise 2 shots, so I'm just going to get rid of Traffic Trails 04 and 03, they're down the bottom there, I can bring them back anytime I want. So I'm now going to concentrate on Traffic Trails 02 and 01. I'm going to select 02, I'm going to select all, so Control A, I've got my marching ants running around the file there, then Control C to copy it. And what I'm now going to do is go to Traffic Trails 01, click on that, and then I'm going to paste in our selection, so Control V. And we've now got a new layer in our shot. If you can't see your layers palette, just hit F7 on your keyboard or go to Window, Layers, but mine's just tucked away there, so that's our new layer in there, layer 1. At the moment it's completely smothered our background layer, so we can't see our background layer at all. If I just hide that, that's our background layer, our trail01.dng file, and this is our new layer. So I just want to blend through that light trail there, and I can do that with the blending mode. I don't want to disrupt any of this, so I just want to quickly bring through that light trail there. So rather than having to make complex selections, what I'm going to do is go to the blending mode on the layers palette, make sure I've got layer 1 selected, and go from normal, and I'm going to go to lighten. And you can see we've got our new light trails overlapping the ones below it, but we've still kept the same exposure for the houses and background. So that's working well. So if I just click back, you can see our light trail there. Okay, I'm now going to repeat that process with the other two files. So I'm going to bring up Traffic Trails 03. I'm going to hit Control A to select it again, Control C, then click back on Traffic Trails 01. I'm going to paste it in again, Control V. So we're now just building this up. I'm going to change the blending mode again to normal, and this will have, from normal to lighten. And as you can see, that's had the same effect. So if I click back, we're just building up those traffic trails. Okay, finally I'm going to run through it quickly. I'm going to go to Traffic Trails 04. I'm going to select that again quickly, copy it, and then back to Traffic Trails 01, and Control V to paste it in. And then, as before, I'm going to change the blending mode to lighten. So what we've done there is just built up our traffic trails to really add much more impact to the shot. If I just hide them, it looks a bit dull just as that single shot. But when I've blended them together, it's starting to look really good. Right, so we can forget about our other three files for now. I'm just going to concentrate on Traffic Trails 01. So I'm just going to maximize that on screen so we can see it nice and clearly. Okay, so we've got our new layers in there, 1, 2 and 3. I just want to lighten or exaggerate the traffic trails on this left hand lane here. So all I'm going to do is click back on background. I'm going to go to the lasso tool this time, select that, and then just quickly and loosely run round, just round there, just round that lane there, and then back. Release, and we've got our marching ants running round our selection. I'm now going to feather that selection. I'm using CS3, so I'm going to have to go to Refine Edge, but if you're using earlier versions, just go to Select and then down to Feather. So I'm going to hit Refine Edge, and I'm going to choose a feather of around 80 pixels. You can see that's the effect we've got there. That's the only area that's going to be affected by our adjustment. So I'm going to hit OK, and we've got our feathered selection. So with that in mind, I'm now going to move down to the layers palette and down to the bottom where I'm going to click on Create New Fill or Adjustment Layer. I'm going to select that, and then I'm going to go up to Levels, click on it, and a pop-up box should appear. There we go. And all I'm going to do is drag this slider on the right-hand side inwards, and as you can see, that starts to really bring out the light trails and the colour in that lane there. Might go a little bit more. If I click off preview, you see that's made quite a nice dramatic change to the shot. So I'm happy with that. I'm going to hit OK, and we've got our adjustment layer there. So we've worked on the intensity of the traffic trails, but the sky's looking a bit weak as well. So I'm going to now work on that. When I click on layer 3, I'm not going to work on this, but what I'm going to do is go to Layer, New Layer. The pop-up box, I'm going to go for layer 4, hit OK. The reason why I selected layer 3 is if I'd selected a lower one, it would have come in just above that. I wanted layer 4 right at the top of my layer stack. Okay, to darken down the sky, I'm going to use the gradient tool. So rather than burning in this shot, use the gradient tool. So I'm going to select it there, gradient tool. If you can't see it, hold down your mouse, and it's sometimes underneath the paint bucket tool. So I've selected my gradient tool. I now need a foreground colour, so I want a reasonably dark grey. I've already got one, but if you can't find one, just go to your swatches palette, which is there, click on it, and along there you've normally got something like a 80% or 75% grey. Just click on it, and that will be your foreground colour. So I'm going to just hide that now because we don't need our swatches palette anymore. I'm now going to move up to the top and select the type of gradient we're going to go for. From your drop down, we want a foreground to transparent gradient, so click on that, make sure you got that selected, And then we've got the type of gradient we're going to go for, and this I want a linear gradient, so just the standard one. Click on it, make sure opacity is at 100% for now, and then at the top of the sky, click and then drag your mouse downwards. This line will come out, go down to about the horizon, and then release. Okay, at the moment it's not looking good, but we're going to use another blending mode to really get the best out of our gradient. So make sure you've got layer 4 selected, and from normal, I'm going to go and lighten because it does nothing. I'm going to go all the way up to multiply. I'm going to click on that. I've got a nice dark brooding sky now, and that's made the image look a lot better, I think. If you think it's a bit too harsh, you can just go to opacity and knock the opacity back to around 80% or thereabouts, depending on what you think's best. So I'm going to leave it there. My only real thing I want to change now is the lamppost. It's got a little bit of a lean on it, so I'm going to just level the shot off. Now I can quickly do that without having to sort of spend ages guessing what angle it's at by using the ruler tool. So I'm going to strangely click on the eyedropper tool and select ruler. So I've got my ruler selected. I'm going to go down, make sure, it doesn't really matter what layer you've got selected, but I'm just going to click back to background. I'm now going to zoom in and get to my lamppost, and with my ruler I want to click on the top of it. You can see it's got a lean on it, which is sort of just makes me a little bit uncomfortable with the shot. I'm just going to click and then drag downwards to the bottom of the lamppost, round about there, release, and what that's done is just measured the angle that lamppost is at. So if I go to image now, rotate canvas, and then go down to arbitrary, click on it, and it's already worked out what angle we need to rotate the image by. So it's a very precise 1.61 counterclockwise. So I'm going to hit OK, and we've got our rotated image. And as you can see, the lamppost is now nicely at 90 degrees. I'm just going to zoom out. As you can see, we've just got to crop the image slightly, so I'm going to use the crop tool. Make sure I haven't got anything saying snap to document bounds. Then I'm just going to quickly drag out the crop tool and then hit return, and we've got our cropped and final image. And there we go, our perfect light trail shot. We've been able to quickly apply the same rule conversion to a series of shots, blend them together in Photoshop, taking advantage of the various blending modes, made some minor improvements to the overall shot. Get out there and have a go yourself. That's all for now. Cheers.